Welcome to Maybe We Can Help, the podcast where we give our unsolicited advice. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. I am Tasia Royale,
I'm Sheena.
I'm Risha.
and we're going to get right into the topic today. First of all, I turned 29 last week. So I'm 29, and last week was a struggle within myself. Within myself, it was a struggle mentally. I don't know what it is about getting to a new age.
They say that gap between 28 and 29 is like a mental
I don't know what it is. Yes.
I went through it too.
Yeah. I was
haven't
like,
talked about it.
and then sleeping a lot. Like, I don't know what it is. That week was something else. So we're going to talk about how self-aware are you? Because during this week, I knew that something was going on with me, and I just felt like I was at the bottom of the barrel mentally. So we're going to talk about how self-aware are you? And when we talk about self-awareness, what are we talking about?
How well do you know yourself, basically? And some people are aware, and then some people are kind of blind. Y'all ever seen those people that come on? What is the thing called where people go audition?
Anything?
American Idol, America's Got Talent, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of those people aren't aware they can't really sing. Like, they really believe they can sing and they can, do all these things. They see other people doing it. They believe they can. They don't have a lot of self-awareness. So that type of thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they don't know.
You can't sing. You don't know how jacked up you really are.
So let's start with each of us. Let's start with you, Risha.
No, let's start with y'all.
Why?
Because y'all are on the thing. You got it. I'm
on the
just gonna-
thing.
Y'all already on the topic and stuff. I'm just fill in. Just go ahead. We're gonna start from oldest to youngest.
Well,
Even that
That
way
means
will
you
work.
second
It
then.
don't matter. I'm not first.
Oh my gosh.
I personally believe that I'm very self-aware. I'm constantly kind of analyzing and going back and trying to see how I do things and how I can improve, and constantly thinking about other people, how it's gonna make my actions will make other people feel, or their perception, of me. And I ask a lot. If you're my friend or in my circle, I'm going to ask you how what I said makes you feel. And the best I can hope for is that you will answer truthfully, so that I can really get a good understanding. That's why it's good to have a good, honest circle. Because without that, if you're asking your circle questions and they're not answering truthfully, then they are contributing to your self-blindness. So I think I have a pretty good circle, and they do tell me, this is my circle right here, some of it. And they do tell me, hey, this is right or that's wrong, or that made me feel like this. And that helps me to stay self-aware. What about you, Tay?
Snap.
So yeah, I think I have a pretty good. What do y'all think? Do y'all think I have a pretty? How self-aware do you think I am?
Child, I just learned how self-aware I wasn't. So, I did.
Honestly, not for the cameras, not for anything else. How do you feel like? Because I think we should do that for each and every one.
I think you're pretty good self-aware. You do be asking a lot of questions.
I do. I know that can be annoying.
Yeah. Well, not for me. I mean, I don't
It
care that
depends.
much.
It's not the questions. It's the everything else.
What is it? Talk to me.
It's not really a question. It's like the whole. Well, we talked about that when lecturing type of thing versus short, sweet, to the point. But sometimes that's needed. So
Yeah, I'm long-winded when I talk. So yeah.
But you're self-aware that you're long-winded.
Yeah.
right.
I don't really know how to change that. That's a trauma for me. Not feeling heard growing up made me have to feel like I needed to talk more to get a point across. And I'm learning as an adult now that I don't necessarily have to. And learning to dial that back. But it's a hard habit to break.
And you don't like lecturing because you grew up with a lot of combative fussing. So you don't
It's
like
brain
lecturing
got time. I'll
So-
shut down real quick.
because you had so much of it when you're growing up. So now you're just like, I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I can see how that clashes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I don't blame her at all for not wanting to go through a lecture because I feel like that when my mom comes at me. So
I think we as adults don't be like, I'm like, oh Lord, here you go. I don't want to hear this. I think it's kind of an adult thing. Some might be stronger than others because I don't really care that you come and you be talking like, yeah.
I think it just depends on the time, space, and the topic. Like all that factors in, because it's not everything. It's certain topics. Just like, all right, here we
get to
go.
the point.
Yeah, but it's not like I said. It's not everything. Everyday life is when it's like, okay, I don't really feel like dealing with this, but I understand we're about to go here. So here we are.
Do you think you're self-aware?
Mm-hmm. To a certain degree, but then a certain part of me still feels selfish, and I know that.
That's self-awareness though.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware that you can be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But my selfish is not selfish to me, because my selfish is keep yourself to yourself. But that's selfish when people want you around. So it's selfish. And then you don't think about what other people feel, because it's like, I'm in myself, by myself, doing self things. And
You like yourself.
yeah, but like I like people too when I'm up. But I just been going through the motions ever since 29. Like I ain't been the same. I don't know what it is. Like when you said, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just
You could
sit this one
relate.
out, because I went through a whole lot. But it was like a season. It's still going. I'm still technically dealing with it, but that 29 transition was lethal. I'm just like, I don't know how I'm making it 30, but I'm gonna get there. It's looking real homeless at 29. Like I'm not homeless or nothing. Like I ain't lose nothing. It's just the fact. It's like
Mental.
yeah, it just look rugged.
Mental,
Like
very,
what kind of path is this on? Low? You said this was gonna be the best summer. I'm over here slaving. I'm over here. I don't know what I'm doing for real. And it's just like I'm self-aware of all these things. I'm aware that these things are going on with self. I just don't know like the steps. So I kind of just been on autopilot.
Oh, yeah. I haven't. So, I do believe I became more self-aware when after I turned 29. And I know I've only been 29 for 7 days, but um so when I hit 29, I just went through, like Risha said, a lot of mental anguish. It felt like a lot of past things started to come out that I thought I was over and healed from, was not. A lot of regrets, and like my spirit kind of wanted to sit in it. Well, I can't even say that. My flesh wanted to sit in it. Sorry. My flesh really wanted to just sit in the pain of the past, like regrets, life, that things that I believe that could have been life altering, that trauma that I've caused, and trauma that happened to me. All of those things, like it literally just came in and then whoosh, just like, and I was just like, what is this? And then I started feeling like, I remember I was recently sitting in the car just talking to the Lord. I was like, man, I'm just, because I have a thing about perfectionism. I like to strive for perfection, and that the weight of that came crashing down on me. Like, you are not perfect. You'll never be perfect, which is true. It's not a lie. You're not a good person. You're not even a kind person. Like, what? How could you be loved? Like, stuff like that. And just all of those different types of feelings and emotions that maybe I did not acknowledge enough, and just kind of be like, whatever. So they all kind of came crashing in on me, and I didn't feel broken, but the flesh, and I believe the enemy wanted me to be broken. So I had to recognize that though these things might be true, I might feel rejected. Absolutely. I might feel that I'm an awful human being, and that I could have been a better friend, a sister, a better wife, and of any of those things. That could also be true, but because of who Jesus is, I don't have to live there. So that realization kind of happened for me, honestly, I'm gonna say today, honestly, kind of a today thing at church. And cause when I was
When
growing,
God said you were growing.
cause I was just like, I felt like I'm at my bottom. Like I feel mentally that I'm literally on the floor. Like I can't get no lower mentally. Like my heart is down here, my brain is down here. I know I'm functioning and I'm walking around happy and love on me, but I'm just like inside I very, very low. But when she also said, our pastor also said, you're never too low that he can't reach down and get you. I was like, I almost, well, I did break down crying. And you tearing, I saw you tearing up a little bit. And I saw you, I said, y'all can't do this up here. Because y'all know I cry real easily. I cry too bad. And and when she said that, I was like, man, like I really felt low. I wasn't broken, but I felt it. Like I really felt like I was. And just to know that he's, even in all of that mental anguish, he was there. And though I was self-aware about that thing, it was nothing for Jesus to say, look, I'm still here for you. I love you just the way you are. You know what I'm saying? You're right here in the place where I need you to be. And then we kept singing that song, I sought the Lord, and he heard and he answered. Like, okay, so I'm going to seek the Lord. That's all I can do, because the enemy's not going to let up. I was telling them this today earlier, like he's not going to stop. These feelings and emotions are going to come back again for me. And I'm not going to be like, oh, when is it coming? I'm not going to sit there. I'm going to just
enjoy your life and
acknowledge God through it. Like, okay, this happened to me, or mentally, or I did this. I'm not there anymore. The blood of Jesus covered it. I pray healing for myself. I'm really on a healing journey. I never thought I needed to be healed from anything. That's a perfectionist thing. Like, how the heck? Who did you think you were? You need to be healed from nothing. So, being humbled in a sense, basically. I was extremely humbled this week by all of those feelings. And I think that's where I am going to start to grow, because I laid it all down. I ain't have nothing left to give. That's all I had. So that's my self-awareness. I'm growing in it, though.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah,
that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, basically you said how I felt for months. You know, I'm glad that it's only been 7 days for you and you came to that conclusion, because I'm still trying to get out of that. Yeah, and I'm such a strong person, and I don't wear my emotions on my sleeve like that. So you're literally sinking, and nobody around you knows. So that.
I think society expects you to do that, especially. I don't want to make it a black or white thing, especially when you're black.
Black women.
Like, you gotta
carry it all.
You better suck that up and keep it moving. So I can understand that.
Yeah. I had a slight breakdown because when Risha was here, she kind of just patted me on the back and was, like, it's gonna be all right. But I was just like, snot, boohoo, tears on my knees, like crying out, like, God, I need your help.
That's how I felt in the car. You know how crazy it is to be driving and can barely see, them tears be in your eyes. But like, I can't see all the way, but that's the best place to do it though, sometimes in the car.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was like my place at one point in time.
Just to cry out.
To say. Yeah, I got quiet like I was about to tell y'all a story.
You did. You said I've did it one too many times.
That's your place of healing, you feel like?
In a way.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I sit in my car too, so that's why I asked. I sit in my car a lot. I could sit in my car for hours in the driveway and just, think things through, think things over, and try to find the areas and spaces I can improve in.
It used to be a shower for me, but it has become the car. It has become the car. How do people become how, for someone who is not aware of themselves or aware of their flaws and things, how do y'all think they can get to a place to understand who they really are and how they can improve?
Well, first of all, when you're blind, somebody has to tell you. It's never going to feel good, and it's not going to be fun, but it's important for you to know. I feel like, I be seeing girls sometimes and they come out the house, I'm like, she don't got real friends.
That is very true.
Them people that is on American Idol, they ain't got no real friends.
Mm-mm.
They
Don't
don't have
nobody
no
love
real
them
friends.
for real.
Right. Because my hurting your feelings should not be to the point where I'm gonna let you get in front of millions of people and make a complete fool of yourself just so I don't have to do it.
And you know the crazy part, they be letting them go past for entertainment reasons. So if they show up and really think they can sing, they getting by like, oh, they gonna let me by. No, they just know you gonna be funny on TV.
Exactly.
You gonna be hilarious.
Exactly. And their loved ones sometimes are right there in the corner. Like, you know, they can't sing. You heard them when you heard them not be able to sing. Why are you allowing this? You know, but people do it, you know, and that's why people stay self-blind. And then you might even believe what they're telling you. You're doing so good. You sound amazing. And you become more self-blind. And you know, when you have friends and family, that tell you you're doing something good or you're looking good or you're doing this good and it's not true, you know, they literally make you blind because you like, these people crazy. I know I'm good at this. I know I can do this. I know, you know, and then you start, it's everybody else. It's not me because I know this about myself, you know.
And that's called delusion.
Absolutely.
Delulu. So the truth shall
The
make
truth
you free.
makes you more free. Yeah, then you can see it for yourself, and so therefore, even if whether it's good or bad, I know it exists.
But it also hurts though. Like you said, the truth hurts
Yeah, it does.
sometimes. Especially when you ain't ready.
Most of the time.
Especially when you ain't ready to accept it.
Most of the time, the truth hurts. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen too many truths that didn't hurt my feelings, but made me so much better as a person, as an individual. Those things that I cry about and that I go back and reanalyze and think it over and grow from, you know. And it's your perception
Mm-hmm.
of whatever truth you have come across is what's going to either make you a stronger, better individual or drag you down, all the way down, where you start to try to self-medicate and you start to have a low self-esteem and a bad image and this and that. Because if you tell me, you know, I don't know, Sheena, when I started, you know, when I first started working in a salon, and you know, I had mentors and stuff that would say that sewing ain't quite right. I can internalize that, and I can be like, man, maybe this ain't where I even belong. I'm not good at it. Every time I do a sew-in or every time I do this or that, they're pointing out something else that's wrong with it. It's not tight enough. It's too this. It's not that. And I could have did that, or I can say, okay, how do I make it better? I'm grateful that you told me that, because I would have never known. This looks good to me. And I had that a lot. Like, oh, I wouldn't have, you know, sent them out if I didn't think it looked good, you know. But I had people around me that would be like, it was, you know, higher on this side than it was on that side. Did you notice that? And then I say no. But, you know, I was also taught always take pictures so that you can look back and right. Yeah. And then I would look at that picture and be like, okay, I see what they're saying. And then they would say, does your picture look like these pictures out here? Because even though it's decent, you know, these are the people. You don't compare yourself to people that's worse than you. Compare to yourself to people that's better than you, so you can keep getting that. You can go that way and not this way. Mm-hmm. You know, so
yeah.
The truth. Yeah.
The truth. And also be careful with comparison. Now, when it comes to work and things like that, yes, because you should want to always get better. But don't compare, because comparison can be the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself so much that you become like jealous or envious.
That's what I said about perception.
Yeah.
If you look at yourself and you say, man, I want to be more like that. Like, don't look at somebody and envy them like I want to be them. Mm-hmm. Look at them and say, I love this look. There's something about this look that's capturing my attention. How did they achieve that look? And how can I improve the look I have? Because when I look at, you know, think what I'm wearing, it's not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. There's something about this more sophisticated look that I like. And I do that all the time. And then I try to analyze and see how I can make that a part of my wardrobe. You know, so that's what I mean by you know, because when you compare yourself to the best, and you can become better. But if you know what I'm saying, be like, oh, you know, they're just
doing
better than
this.
me.
Yeah, they're doing
Right.
that. I can't do this.
That is internalizing, and internalizing things means to turn the truth on yourself. It is true. Their wardrobe is better in your eyes. It's something about that wardrobe that you do like. That is the truth. But if you say, what can I do to get there? Then that is improvement. That is motivation. That becomes inspiration. But when you say that I'm not like that. I don't look like that. I can't even have that. I don't even have the money. That's internalization. And then you're internalizing it. You're turning it on yourself. So the truth is always a blessing, but your perception of it is going to take you that way where you become better. And next thing you know, they're looking at your Instagram trying to figure out how you got your wardrobe, and you used to admire them. Or, you know what I'm saying? You're just become you get worse and worse within yourself, because you continue to pile things on top of yourself to make you feel worse than you already did.
I like that. That was good. I think social media has people doing that a lot, internalizing things.
Yes.
Because you look on social media, you see an edited video, you see an edited picture. Now, I'm not saying that everything on social media is a lie. Not saying that at all, because people do live good lives.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? People are actually living a good life. But to just be, like Sheena said, internalizing those things as if you could never obtain them, that's what's giving you anxiety. That's what's making you frustrated and angry all the time.
And sick.
Exactly, and sick, because you're internalizing these feelings as if you can't obtain these things if you don't work hard enough.
And when you internalize things, you also turn things on your cells.
Mm-hmm.
You, like, the cells in your body respond to your mood. They respond to your perception. They respond to the things that you think about and the things that are on your mind. So it doesn't just affect, you know, the fact that I feel worse. No, you actually can become physically ill by putting all of those negative things into yourself. It's been scientifically proven. You know, they've done all these experiments. We talked about this before with, like, the rice experiment and the plant experiment, where they would say negative words to rice or plants or whatever, and that plant would always wither and die. And then then you speak positive words to the other plant, and that plant will, grow and thrive, and sometimes even have more flowers on it than the plant should have, because of how you're talking to it. You know, so it matters how you talk to yourself. It matters.
So tell yourself the truth. Talk positive to yourself. We got 2 steps for y'all. Y'all write that down. You know, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
And internalizing happens to everybody. Don't get me wrong. It happens to everybody, but we're Christian here, and we believe in casting down the imaginations that would try to exalt itself above the will of God. And sometimes you have formed such a habit of internalizing things that it's hard to break that cycle. And so you don't even have that could make you internalize in itself. I internalize all the time. However, it's not a bad thing, but see other people or see yourself. You ain't even gotta see nobody else. See yourself talking positive to yourself, and start taking steps and start speaking words and affirmations into your life every day, so that you break that cycle and you get used to talking to yourself about wellness and beauty, and pointing out the best things about you, and giving yourself the life, health, breath, and strength that you deserve to have as a growing, living individual.
And I say sometimes you have to step back from negative things. Social media can be very negative. I know I be taking breaks sometimes, like, because I just be like, nah, I can't keep watching this. I'm internalizing this stuff. So I take long breaks sometimes from social media. Facebook has been a long one, because, like, I don't know if it's like that in other people's city, but, like, I feel like you just be in everybody business on Facebook. Because, I get it. Everybody posts stuff on Facebook. Everybody posts everything. That's fine. And I just don't want to be a part of nobody else's business when I'm trying to work myself out. So I take a big step from Facebook. TikTok, help me, Lord, because it's I'd be strolling. Like, I don't know these people. I'm just strolling. But I'm taking a break from TikTok right now because, again, eternalization is a bad thing.
Yes.
It's a bad thing.
Yes.
And pick up a book.
Oh my God.
I know that's
books are awesome.
I know that's especially the Bible. Well, like Sheena said, we are Christians and we believe in the Word. You know what I'm saying? The Word has so many positive things to say about you and what God thinks about you. So pick up a book. Let's start with self-care, like as mental care. You know what I'm saying? Start treating yourself better. It's not just about spa days and getting your toes done. It's about, watering yourself as if you were a plant, like Sheena said. Watering yourself, feeding yourself words of life and words of wisdom.
Emotional Intelligence is a great book to start with. If you think you should start with a book, that's a great way to start. The Bible, of course, but if you need something outside of that, then Emotional Intelligence is a great way to start. That helps you to see and be emotionally intelligent. It's a good book.
Mm-hmm.
You read Emotional Intelligence, Risha?
I like
what did you think about it?
It was a good book.
You read it all?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need to see it.
Machina's book.
I need to see that. I didn't read it.
You can read it. I read it for a second time, so you can.
Oh, I didn't know you were finished with it because I wanted to see it when she was done.
What did that book? How did that book help you?
It showed me, basically the traits of not having emotional intelligence in different levels. It just breaks down what you don't know you're doing as a human, because by nature we can be emotional without not knowing what it is actually called. So it really helped.
So it made you more self-aware.
Yeah,
one could say.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta read it. I want to read that book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah,
and it will help you become self-aware so that you won't be a victim of self-blindness.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to see yourself. So many people, some of y'all are arguing with family members and you can't stand that family member. Y'all haven't talked for years, and to you, it's always going to be their fault. There's not a whole lot of awareness. There's no blame or judgment in that. But at the same time, you want to be self-aware and you want to make sure you are checking the right things, to make sure, if there is a place that you could have improved or done better, that you do just that. Now, you don't want to put yourself in toxic situations and around people that have issues that are going to keep, pouring that onto you, and it become, it becomes a bad environment for you to be in. But at the same time, you do want to be able to check yourself and make sure, because it could be you.
That's a lot. That happens a lot of times in relationships. Like most people point the finger. Just point the finger, just like it's you. For sure, it ain't me. It's hard to be self-aware in a relationship. I think it's easier to be self-aware when you by yourself. And I say that because you not only have yourself looking at you, you have someone else looking at you all the time, so they know your flaws.
So you said it's easier to be self-aware when you're alone?
Yeah,
that's not true at all. Really? In my opinion. No, because a lot of you don't know what you're doing wrong. I think that you become the most self-aware, those who are willing to take this path are more self-aware when you are around people, because they're going to say, I didn't like this, or you said that, or why did you say that? Most of the time, spouses say their truth to each other, because they're in a battle to try to change that other person to what they need them to be. So they don't have an issue pointing out their flaws and telling them about themselves. A lot of times our self-blindness, I don't want to admit, or I don't see it that way.
That's why I feel like it's harder.
So you literally have a mirror.
Myself.
No, you literally have a mirror. It's definitely easier. I mean, I won't say it is easier when you're single, but only because there's no accountability. When you're in a relationship, that's a mirror in front of you. showing you and constantly before you telling you about yourself.
In a healthy relationship.
Healthy.
We don't talk about nor acknowledge toxic relationships because maybe you shouldn't be in it.
Yes.
But so when we
Right.
talk about these relationships, we're talking about healthy relationships with a partner who is making you more accountable. So go ahead.
Yes, and more accountable in love as well. Because if you don't love that person, you don't really care about them, then you're gonna be toxic anyway. You know, and so loving healthy relationships with both partners, having the best. What am I saying? The best. Have the other person's best interest in mind.
So it is easier to be self-blind
When you're single, right? Because you can agree with you all the time, all day
so
long.
it's not be easy to be self-aware. It's just easy to be self-blind because ain't nobody calling you out on your stuff.
Right.
It's just you.
Right. And nobody's telling you nothing.
So-
you ain't gotta change nothing. You ain't gotta be nothing else. It's just me, myself, and I.
So technically, it could be if one is not constantly working on themselves while they're single. It could be harder for someone who is single for long periods of time to now get into a relationship
It depends on their circle.
if they're not
It depends on their circle.
constantly working on themselves, like being self-aware and their different emotional intelligence. If they're not,
Yes. I feel like if you have a good circle of friends that, will tell you, saying in love and truly care, then you can still be great in a relationship. Even if you have parents, sisters and brothers, siblings that are honest with you and in a healthy way, then you become more self-aware. They say, hey, you shouldn't have said that. I didn't like the way you said that. And if you type of person, well, then don't be around me then you're probably not the best to be in a relationship because you really don't care about how anything that you're doing affects someone else, and that's important. But if they say, hey, I don't like the way you said that, and you say, oh, I'm sorry, let me figure out how I can fix that so that so that you can be comfortable too. It's mutual respect of persons. And I know some people out there might be like, I ain't saying it like that. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not that, whatever. I'm just going to say it. However, but the thing is, what's the point of having relationships if you're not going to care about people? It's about their well-being as well as yours. It's if it's not that, then you may just go
Be
in
alone.
isolation. But if you want to care, I'm telling you right now, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Because when you got a group of people with you, it's going to take you farther. They can do something you can't, and it's always going to take you far. You know what I'm saying? But you can, if you're going by yourself, you can go fast, but you're going to run out of steam early. You ain't nobody there to pick you up or carry you through anything. So those times, and it's easier to give up too when you're by yourself. It's best to having a village is a blessing.
a healthy village.
Having a healthy village.
We gotta add that word because I
is
do
a blessing.
understand that there are people who don't have anybody, and it is unfortunate. But I do understand that they don't have anybody to depend on because it's always negative, and I wouldn't want to be around those people either. Always speaking death on people.
Yeah.
Like that's extremely exhausting.
Right. And there's a
So-
difference between speaking death on somebody and making someone more self-aware.
Aware.
And you can feel the difference.
It's
you
out.
know?
One is out of love, and one is out of just pure. I wouldn't say hatred because they might not hate you, but just out of dysfunction of themselves. Almost.
Yes. Trauma,
Yeah.
bitterness. And that's not, there's no judgment in any of that. Because it very well could be you. It very well could be me. As a matter of fact, at one point it was me talking to everybody from my bitter place, but because of self-awareness and because of having a circle that was like, hey, I didn't like the way you said that. I still love you, but you could have did that better. You could have said that better. It made me more self-aware because I know that they mean me well. And I'm like, all right, let me change that. And I'm that type of person. I'm okay changing it, for the benefit of somebody else. I don't see it as a burden to have to accommodate the people that I care most about in this whole wide world. Because at the end of the day, if something bad was to happen, to any of, you know, say I ain't gonna speak that. If something was to happen to someone out there in the world and they had to be on their deathbed, they're not gonna be thinking about all the money they didn't get, or you know, all the possessions they could have had. They're literally going to think about the people they cared about the most, or that at least that's for the most part, people that love human beings normally care about people.
The unselfish ones.
The unselfish people, right? Because it might be somebody laying on their deathbed thinking about all the money they could have had.
But you can't take it with you.
Right. But I know for me or anyone that cares about people, that's what they would think about. The people that they cared about the most, the things that they could have said and done differently. You know, and when we're missing someone because they passed away, we think about all the things we could have done differently. Mm-hmm. I know with my grandmother, I'm always like, man, if I could have her biscuits right now, I should have wrote down that recipe.
Don't you know how to make them?
I do, but there's things that I can't remember that go into the recipe because it's been so long. You know, I never wrote it down.
Pastor don't know it.
I don't know. Tracy does. My
so
cousin
somebody
Tracy
need
does.
to write
I'm
it
gonna
down.
get it from Tracy.
I feel that way about Aaron's family recipe. Somebody need to write this stuff down. Because we need to have this stuff. God forbid if anything happened. We need this stuff. Like the potato salad. Come on now. Somebody got to write it down. Where's the potato salad recipe? Where's the cornbread recipe? God, please.
So I have a question for you, Tay. So because earlier you said it's easier to be single. I mean, to be self-aware when you're single. Do you think that having that reflection in relationships is a burden sometimes?
I don't think it's a burden. It's annoying. It's hard to see yourself through someone else's eyes. Me, I ain't gonna talk to nobody else. It is hard to see yourself through someone else's eyes because in your mind, it's just like, I don't do that. Like, I ain't malicious about it. Like, I ain't trying to be mean, but to them, it's just like, yeah, you are. Like, that's not a good thing.
Or at least that's how it looks from my perspective.
From them, you know what I'm saying?
And how it feels from
to
this
them.
side, yeah.
Like, that's not easy to hear. And sometimes when you're in a relationship, it comes up more than once because you doing something out of habits. You're doing something out of a habit. So it comes up more than once, and it feels like, oh my gosh.
Just let me be me.
Let me have this one, please. Like, you keep bringing this up. Let me be. But if you really genuinely love that person, and I realize this about me, it's hard for me to definitively say anything. And I say that because, like, I will be, Aaron, he'll bring up something I did, and I'd be like, well, maybe I did that. Or you could be right. No, this is how he is feeling. Like, that's
acknowledge that.
I can't, like, I couldn't in the past genuinely be like, oh, I made you feel like that. I apologize. I'd be like, well, maybe you couldn't.
You're spinning it.
Yes,
some type of way.
I spin it,
so
and I couldn't.
Not my fault.
Yes, I have done that a lot, and recognizing, like, I was like, dang, and I start to stop myself now, like when I bring up like or maybe or could, because those are my filler words, like I just did right here. Those are my filler words when I'm not acknowledging what he's saying I'm doing to him, because that is his perception of it. Like, he's feeling this way because I did this. So yeah, it's harder. It has taught me growth. I wouldn't have acknowledged that a couple years ago, but maybe a month ago.
That's awesome.
But I will say it has caused me to grow in these areas, but it is difficult. And I can see why people who have been stuck in a way that they deem is right, or self-blindness, I can see why when they get into a relationship, they run from it, because it can be challenging. It's very challenging. It's not an easy forte. But if you love someone, you just don't treat them. Yeah. But if you love someone, you will work towards it.
What was your pivoting point?
And if perception, or what?
Yeah, to be like, okay, I shouldn't do that, or I'm doing this.
I would say when I felt as though it was genuinely affecting someone else. Like, oh, this affects you. Like this? Me doing this affects you? Oh. Well, I can.
So your love.
Yes. I could not do that. It comes with being self-aware. Like, you have to realize that your perspective is not the only perspective, and it could be a perspective that is harmful. So it started with, I could be hurting you. So let's acknowledge that and get better with that. So that's kind of where it started at. Like, I could not be a good person. Kind of like that. Kind of like that.
That doesn't mean you're
not a good person, but
yeah.
I could have bad actions or bad intentions. That's another one.
So were you intentfully?
Sometimes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I could have bad intentions. So yes, it also comes with recognizing that you could be doing things like intentionally to harm someone, like physically, but like hurt someone intentionally, or
like a get back.
Yes, all of that came up. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Risha, do you ever feel like you had to grow with your self-awareness?
Yes, a lot, but
what was your pivoting point?
life changes. It's just different things. It's not really one or the other. I don't really know. Honestly, can't explain it.
I feel like for me, a pivoting point for my self-awareness was almost dying.
My God.
Yeah, that changed a lot for me because it made me think about how I would be remembered. You know, how I would be remembered by my children and those that I care about. You know, how did I really treat them? And that type of self-reflection will change a lot of things in your life if you truly love, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for me, that was in that hospital that day. I couldn't walk or talk or breathe, apparently.
But you were reflecting.
So I had plenty of time to sit there and wonder and be stuck with myself and everything that I had created for myself, around myself. I was married at the time, so with my relationship with my husband, and yeah, it was life-changing for me. That was my pivotal point. I don't think I was ever terrible, but I was definitely a lot worse.
I think it comes with self-awareness. Self-awareness is a journey, and it's a lifelong journey.
Amen.
Like, it's something that will continue to grow if you tell yourself the truth. So let's start with hearing the truth and acknowledging the truth with being self-aware, because you just ultimately just want to be a better you know, in the Lord. Amen.
Absolutely.
So I hope this has helped you along the way about you being self-aware. Don't be self-blind. That's the negative part of it. Don't be self-blind. You really can't sing. So
Or dance.
or just acknowledge that you can't. So this has been another episode of Maybe We Can Help. I am Tasia Royale.
I'm Sheena.
I'm Risha.
Bye.